Hello everyone, welcome to my free online tutorial for the new SAT Math section. The problem that you see on your screen right now is problem number 13, practice test 3, section 4, calculator allowed. And this practice test is found in the new SAT official study guide just released by College Board for the redesigned SAT that will start from March of 2016 in 2 months time from now. Okay, so the equation above gives the height h in feet. Sorry, let me scroll up a little bit. I think I got stuck. Yeah, okay. So the equation above gives the height h in feet of a ball t seconds after it is thrown straight up with an initial speed of v feet per second from a height of k feet. Which of the following gives v in terms of h, t, and k? Okay, so they're asking you to rewrite this equation expressing v, right, feet per second, the speed, the initial speed, in terms of the other three variables h, t, and k, right? So how do you do that? The first thing that you need to do is you need to isolate whatever involves v, right? Because you're gonna isolate v eventually, but right now you see it's tied in multiplication in a product to t. So you need to isolate v times t from the rest of these lads here, right? So you're going to add 16. You're going to get rid of negative 16 times t squared, and then you're going to also get rid of k. And how do you do that? You add 16 times t squared on both sides, because if you add it on the right side, you will get rid of it. It will be just 0 on the right side. Right? So when you add it, you should expect to add it on both sides, and you're going to have h plus. Remember, you're going to have a different sign, right? The negative of negative, right? In order for this to turn to 0, you must add. So you're going to have, and when you add it on the left side, you're going to get h plus, right? Because you're going to add plus 16t squared. And then how do you get rid of k? You get rid of k by simply subtracting from the right side, right? Subtracting k. So if you subtract k on the right side, you will wind up with 0. So 0 plus 0 or minus 0, whatever it is, will get you the v times t isolated by itself on the right side. So when you subtract k on the right side, you do the same thing. Remember, whatever you do on the right side, on either side of the equation, you have to do the same thing on the other side. So if we subtract k on the right side, we do the same thing on the left side, and we're going to have h minus k, right? But since we already have 16t squared, remember, the left side will be h plus 16 times t squared minus k, and this expresses v times t, right? So now we have rewritten the v times t, the product, in terms of the other three variables. But we're not done yet, because the question asks you to express v by itself, right? And in order to express v now, all we have to do is divide both sides by t. And why do we divide? Because t is tied to v in a product, right? V multiplies t. And if it multiplies t, the only way to get rid of t is to divide by both sides. Divide both sides by t, all right? So when you do that, you should have v is equal to this whole chunk on the left side. Well, I just switched sides for convenience, but it's going to be h plus 16 times t squared minus k, and this whole thing divided by t. And you might tell me, oh, but I don't see this in the answer here. Well, let's take a look. Remember that 16 times t squared divided by t can be further simplified, right? Because that would be 16 times t, right? Because there are two t's here. T squared means t times t. So when you get rid of one t, because one t divided by t will give you simply 1, you will only have t in the numerator, right? So you will have 16 times t for one of the terms simplified. But look, the other two terms cannot be further simplified because they don't have any t attached to them. So they must keep being divided by t, right? So h minus k, the first and the last term, will still be divided by t, and there's nothing we can do about that, right? So the fraction, in other words, for h and negative k will be there still, but the fraction will not exist for 16t squared because we divided it by t, and t is the common variable. So 16t will be expressed on its own, right? So as a result, if you see this, the fraction is still kept as we just talked about it, h minus k divided by t, right, because there's nothing we can do, and then isolating the 16t after that, right? We're adding 16t and not 16t squared over t, which is actually the same thing, but it's not a simplified, right? Since the variable is the same, right, there's a common variable of t, we can simplify this, and that's why it's simply 16t. But the fraction remains for h and negative k, right, because there's no t attached to h, either h or k. That's why the fraction is still there, and there's nothing this is the simplest division that we can have for them. All right, so the correct answer choice to this problem is choice D.